Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News of the Berkshires and beyond. June is now on the calendar, and that means it's summertime. There are lots of outdoor activities to do. On this episode, I'm visiting Jacob's Pillow for a second round of dance performances, the Dr. Seuss Museum in Springfield, plus our usual stops to local theater companies. I'll also be beginning the 2026 Basketball Hall of Fame biographies. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, what was the first book Dr. Seuss ever wrote? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, we will be revisiting Jacob's Pillow in Lenox for the second part of our preview. All of these performances for this episode take place in July. First up is Ila Verdin. He will make his pillow debut with Proxies, a rigorously imagined work at the intersection of dance and technology that explores what happens to human relationships when movements are translated into data. Developed during Pillow Lab residencies in 2018 and 2023, Proxies draws on research into loneliness, data privacy, and the ethics of care. Verdin invites the audience to consider what technology can and cannot capture about how we relate to ourselves, one another, and the world around us. Dancers wear custom-designed sensors on their hands and feet. Technology that tracks and surfaces the subtle and often invisible give and take of physical connection. The data flows in real time to musicians, weaving together movement and sound in a continuous loop of responsiveness. Also performing is Eisenhower Dance Detroit. Hailed by CBS Detroit as the city's artistic ambassadors, Eisenhower Dance is considered one of the finest contemporary dance companies in the Midwest. Now in its 35th season, the company tours nationally and internationally, presenting the work of renowned choreographers while collaborating with a wide range of musicians, composers, visual designers, and directors. Another performance will be Acacia Red Elk. Apologies for any mispronunciation. An enrolled member of the Umatilla tribe from the northeastern Oregon Territory, Acacia Red Elk is a renowned performing artist and jingle dancer who has won 10 world championships at the Gathering of Nations, the largest powwow on the continent. In her return to Jacob's Pillow, she will perform an evening-length work featuring native violinist Genevieve Gross Lewis. Finally, for this episode is Pua Ali Ilma. The group returns to the Henry J. Lear stage for the first time since 2012. The mission of this School of Hawaiian Dance is to preserve and perpetuate Native Hawaiian arts and cultural traditions for future generations. The school was founded by Kumu Vicky Holt Takamine, a 2024 GIST Prize recipient and a preeminent Native Hawaiian leader, noted for her artistry on advocacy on social justice issues, the protection of Native Hawaiian rights, and the natural and cultural resources of Hawaii. On the next episode, we will conclude the Jacob's Pillow portion with their August performances. For more information, visit the website shown here. We will now be going to Berkshire Theater Group for an important new play called The American Five. Written by Ches Jacobs, The American Five explores pivotal moments in the lives of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Coretta Scott King, Bayard Rustin, Stanley Levinson, and Clarence B. Jones during the height of the Civil Rights Movement. Set in the tense days leading up to March on Washington, the play examines the strategy, collaboration, and moral conviction behind one of the most consequential events in American history. Developed through workshops at Ford's Theater and the University of Michigan, and premiering at the Ford's Theater in September of 2025, this regional premiere highlights themes of nonviolence, leadership, and personal sacrifice while illuminating the immense pressure facing those who stood at the forefront of change. Directed by Gary McIntyre, who previously helmed Nina Simone for Women at the Unicorn Theater, and last season's celebrated production of The Mousetrap at the Colonial, The American Five continues his exploration of powerful voices at pivotal moments in American history. This show will be going on June 18th through July 11th. For more information, visit the website shown here. After not visiting Masmoka last episode, we will now be discussing a major Masmoka story this episode. Community Free Day. Community Free event is for everyone who walks through the doors. It is Masmoka's biannual community celebration, an invitation to all to explore every corner of the creative campus. On your way into the museum's doors, don't miss the first chance to glimpse the newest outdoor exhibition, Homecoming. by Amanda Lovely and Jessica Gersoni, which will be activated throughout the day. The June Community Free Day includes thematic museum tours, art making in Kids Space, and a special author talk between Isaiah Fitzgerald, author of The American Rambler, Walking the Trail of Johnny Appleseed, and Amanda Lovely, who created Homecoming. This takes place on June 13th. For more information, visit the website shown here. We will be visiting Great Barrington's Wehry Theater for 2 events. The first is a filmed stand-up show. Alison Larkin's hit show, Grief, a Comedy, comes to the Wehry Performing Arts Center on June 12th and 13th, where it will be filmed before a live audience for an upcoming special, directed by Scott Floyd Lockmus, with music by Gary Schreiner. After marriage, divorce, and raising 2 children, Allison, now in her 50s, had made peace with the idea that great romantic love had passed her by. Then she met Bimma at the Red Lion Inn in the Berkshires. What followed was a once-in-a-lifetime love story that would change everything. Hailed as hugely entertaining, marvelously light-footed by the London Times, Larkin's electrifying performance takes us on a funny, moving, life-affirming journey that uplifts audiences and brings them hope long after the curtain falls. This show is scheduled to take place on June 12th and 13th. For more information, visit the website shown here. Also, at the Wehry Theater is an annual occurrence, 100 Years at the Movies. Backed by popular demand, 100 Years of Movies returns to the Wehry Performing Arts Center for another summer of classic American films. Once again, the movies will be introduced by film director Deborah Reinisch. The series will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, along with highlighting the careers of several actors. There are 2 films left in the 2026 series. The first will be North by Northwest on June 18th, and the other will be The French Connection on July 5th. All shows are at 7 p.m. Again, visit the Wehry Theater website for more information. The Clark Art Institute in Williamstown is unveiling a new exhibit. The Clark celebrates the transformative gift received in October 2024 from the foundation of the late collector, philanthropist, and art connoisseur Aza O. Tavitan, with an intro look at his exceptional collection. The exhibition highlights a selection of work from what is arguably the most significant private collection of European art assembled in North America in the 21st century. Featuring works by many of the most acclaimed artists of the early modern era, including John van Eyck, Andrea della Robbia, Gian Lorenzo Bernini, Peter Paul Rubens, Jean-Antoine Watteau, and Jacques-Louis David, among others. This exhibition marks the first public presentation of selections from the Asia Ottavian collection. The full collection will go on in view in summer 2028, when the Clark opens the new Asia Ottavian wing adjacent to the permanent collection galleries. For more information, visit the website shown here. WWHCN is now hitting the road. For our road trip portion on this episode, we will be discussing the amazing world of Dr. Seuss Museum, which is located in Springfield. The amazing world of Dr. Seuss Museum, the newest museum on Springfield's quadrangle of museums, is devoted to Springfield native Theodore Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss. The fully bilingual first floor features family-friendly, interactive exhibits exploring Dr. Seuss's Springfield roots and providing opportunities to experiment with new sounds and vocabulary, play rhyming games, and invent stories, all in line with Geisel's revolutionary role in changing how we learn to read. The second floor, curated by Geisel's two stepdaughters and great-nephew, recreates Geisel's studio and living room with the furniture and art materials he actually used, and features never-before displayed public art, family photographs and letters, and the original Geisel Grove sign, which used to hang in Forest Park. You can even find Theophrastus, the toy stuffed dog Geisel's mother gave to him when he was a boy in Springfield. Outside is the Dr. Seuss National Memorial Sculpture Garden. More than 3 million people have visited it since it opened in 2002. The Sculpture Garden celebrates Dr. Seuss in the city in which he was born and raised. Following Geisel's death in 1991, his wife Audrey authorized the museums to create the memorial. And since that time, the Sculpture Garden has attracted crowds of Dr. Seuss fans to frolic alongside his beloved characters. Sculptor Lark Gray Diamond Cates, who is also Geisel's stepdaughter, created the endearing brown sculptures. Back inside, a gallery devoted to the creation of the Dr. Seuss National Memorial Script Garden is located on the second floor, which opened 15 years after the sculpture garden was installed. The Dr. Seuss Museum is located on 21 Edward Street in Springfield. For more information, visit the website shown here. Dr. Seuss also provides the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, what was the first book Dr. Seuss ever wrote? The answer is, And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street. The book was published by Vanguard Press in 1937. The story follows a boy named Marco, who describes a parade of imaginary people and vehicles traveling across a road, Mulberry Street. In an elaborate fantasy story he dreams up to tell his father at the end of the walk. However, when he arrives home, he decides instead to tell his father what he actually saw: a simple horse and wagon. Writing the book was not easy. Seuss was rejected by various publishers over 20 times before it got released. Needless to say, he got the last laugh. It's now time for a very special part of WWHEN, the annual Basketball Hall of Fame Biography segment. Over the next few episodes, we'll be highlighting this year's inductees into the Hall of Fame, located in Springfield, and why this year's class are worthy of induction. For this episode, the two Hall of Famers are Joey Crawford and Mike D'Antoni. Our first Hall of Famer, Joey Crawford, is being inducted as a referee. Crawford has refereeing in his blood. Both his father, Shag, and brother, Jerry, were longtime umpires in Major League Baseball. Joey Crawford began his refereeing career early. He officiated high school games in Pennsylvania for 8 years while he was still in college. Afterwards, he moved on to the basketball minor leagues before he was hired in the NBA in 1977. He remained there for almost 40 years. By the time of his retirement, Crawford had worked more playoff games, 313, and NBA Finals games, 50, than any other active referee in the league. During his career, he officiated 2,561 regular season games, which was the second most by any referee of all time. He also was a referee every NBA Finals from 1986 to 2015, with the exception of 2007 due to personal reasons. Crawford was known to be a colorful and tough referee and made some controversial calls. However, his long-running career has earned him a well-earned spot in Springfield. Our other Hall of Famer for this episode, Mike D'Antoni, was a strong coach in the NBA. However, the Hall of Fame has chosen to induct him as a contributor, focusing on his innovative coaching tactics rather than his win-loss record. After a successful college playing career at Marshall University in West Virginia and a brief career in the pros, D'Antoni took to overseas to play for an Italian team, Olimpia Milano. By the time he retired after 13 seasons with the club, he had become its all-time leading scorer and had been voted in 1990 the Italian LBA's top point guard of all time, leading his team to 5 championships. Immediately after his retirement, D'Antoni coached that same team for a couple years, leading them to a few Italian championships. It wasn't long before the NBA came calling. After several years as an assistant head coach, D'Antoni earned his first head coaching job in 1998 with the Denver Nuggets, but lasted one uneventful season. In 2003, D'Antoni was hired by the Phoenix Suns as a head coach, the little fanfare. D'Antoni would achieve his big breakthrough in 2005, when the Suns would finish with the best record in the NBA. The main reason for the success was the offense used, called 7 seconds or less. This high-scoring, fast-paced, crowd-pleasing offense led the Suns to continued success. And soon other teams wanted that offensive success. After D'Antoni began using it, offensive numbers skyrocketed throughout the NBA. D'Antoni was also the head coach of the New York Knicks from 2008 through 2012, the Los Angeles Lakers from 2012 through 2014, and the Houston Rockets from 2016 through 2020. While D'Antoni never won an NBA championship, his offensive tactics led to an exciting new era for the NBA and basketball as a whole. That ends this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News in the Berkshires and beyond. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV's website, shown here, or my YouTube page at RT Wehry. And I want to thank CTSB TV and NBCTC for showing my show on their public access station. Thank you.